Um, I'm here with Colorado Rockies Ryan Rolison and former Ole Miss Reb starting pitcher. It's an honor to be here with you through this Zoom session. I'd rather be meeting you on field eventually, but here's some crazy stats about Ryan. In high school, he went 9-0, 108 Ks, 58 innings pitched, 3 runs allowed, 10 hits. He was drafted 37th overall, 37th round by the Padres, but didn't go. He ended up going to Ole Miss. Why did you choose that over going to the draft? Is there any reason, or because I know you're by the numbers you were beyond dominant in high school.
Right. Yeah, it was it was a long process. The draft process out of high school, going to the showcases and going to big tournaments where scouts are and having scout meetings. Coming out of high school and having scouts at the games. It was kind of something that was kind of surreal at first. Just the process going so quickly of committing to college and, all of a sudden, you've got a decision to make whether to, go professional or go to a dream school in the SEC. And so, we weighed both options with, my family and my agent. And we set a number for myself that we thought that would be enough to, bypass college and take that money and, start my professional career. And so we came up with a number we thought, would be, a good number to bypass all of that. And a couple teams called close to that number, but we knew that we weren't going to come off that number. We were, stuck hard on the number we came up with, and we weren't going to come down at all.
Yeah.
And so when that went by, it's hard, coming out of high school, wanting to be, it's easy to get caught up in the hype of getting drafted. And looking back on it, I can say that I probably wasn't ready, knowing what I know now, but I'm sure we'll get into that later.
And Coach Mike Bianco got you ready for that at Ole Miss. And were there any other colleges that you were leaning towards before you went to Ole Miss?
Yeah, so both of my parents went to Memphis, and so I knew they had interest in me. And I actually grew up a Mississippi State fan, which is weird. We had family friends that would take us down to Mississippi State baseball games and football games, so that's really all I knew. And then when the recruiting process came around, a couple of small schools, offered me, starting my sophomore summer. And then obviously got bigger and stronger and started throwing a little bit harder and got some bigger schools to notice me. And Memphis was one of those first schools. And then Ole Miss wanted to take me on a visit. And when I went down there, just seeing the facilities, the atmosphere there, and the coaches actually caring about us more than, just players. And that's one thing that stood out to me is just being a part of, something bigger than myself and something that was like a family. So it's like a home away from home. And I'm glad I made that decision.
I watched the season on Ole Miss baseball on YouTube, so I could tell it's like a giant family, like you guys, like you just said. As a freshman, you were a freshman All-American. You beat Arkansas, you beat Miss, you beat Nichols State, you beat Georgia State, and in your Rebel debut, you beat ECU. What was that like going up against those big-name colleges? Again, Ole Miss is a big-name college too, but what was it like going up against them as a freshman at Ole Miss?
Yeah. I can remember vividly my first outing as a Rebel. It was opening weekend, Sunday.
At Swayze?
Packed out crowd. I think there was we set a record that weekend of attendance, and there was 12,000 people there. And I think it was a pretty close game. We might have been up 2 runs, and it was the 6th or 7th inning, and Coach B tells me to go down to the bullpen because I started out of the bullpen, and I run down there, and my heart just starts fluttering, man. I'm warming up, and you hear all the in left field screaming your name, and just getting that adrenaline. And then when I ran in from the pen, I remember my first pitch, my whole body went numb, not being able to feel a thing. Just man, this is surreal. And it took me a while to actually, sit back and like, dude, I'm pitching in Swayze Field in a college game. Just kind of surreal. Had a lot of family and friends there. And then, after that, you kind of calm down, and every other, appearance after that is a little less nerve wracking, and still the adrenaline every time stepping on that mound is there, but just becoming comfortable. Yeah, becoming comfortable.
And then your sophomore year, 2018, Oxford Regional all tournament team, third player in Ole Miss with 100 Ks, 10 plus wins, top rotation spot, 10-4, 120 Ks, beat Mississippi State, win at Vandy, win over LSU, and win over Auburn. What was it like pitching at Vandy? Is the crowd anywhere near as good as Swayze, or?
I wouldn't say it's as good as Swayze, but I do remember that Friday night I think it was close to sold out. I remember, being from Tennessee, going to Vanderbilt games when I was younger, regionals and super regionals, seeing, the atmosphere there, and it's a great atmosphere. And I got a lot of family and friends at that game just because, being close by in Nashville. That was one of my favorite outings, is being able to pitch in that kind of atmosphere, against a great team like Vanderbilt, and to be able to, have a good outing and get a win was definitely one of my top moments at Ole Miss.
Awesome. And then that year you got an SEC championship victory over LSU. You relieved in that game. How was that feeling going for an SEC championship and pulling it off, of course?
Now that was my favorite memory at Ole Miss. During my time, with Ole Miss baseball, I pitched the first game of the tournament against Auburn. Went 7 innings, and 3 days. I was only on 2 or 3 days rest, and I let Coach B know before the game. I said, "Hey, if you need me, I'll be ready." Like, how many times do you get to pitch, in the SEC championship? And I said, dude, yeah, if you need me, I'm ready to take the ball. I want to be that guy on the mound. And that's the way I've always been, is I want the ball, in that crucial moment. And so we're winning. We're cruising along. And then it hits the 6th inning, I believe. And it's a close ball game. And 3 or 4 run ball game, and they get bases loaded, no outs. I end up coming into the game. I get a first pitch ground ball, or first at bat ground ball. Second baseman, we boot it. And so next 2 guys, I remember I pop up one, struck out one. And then, you want to talk about an atmosphere to pitch in. It was 15,000 people, and it was LSU, and it was like split right down the middle. Mm-hmm. LSU on this side, Ole Miss on this side, and both sides were standing up. Yeah, at this moment of the game, I think they were down 2 runs or something like that, and a 3-2 count. I get the strikeout, and just electric moment. A moment that I'll never forget for sure.
You went on to go against St. Louis, and you also shoved there. You got the win, 7 innings, 13 Ks. What round was that in? That was after LSU, of course, right? Was that to get to?
That was regionals. That was we hosted regionals that year, and that was the first game of the regionals.
Sadly, it didn't go that way. A better way after, but you did dominate in the SEC tournament and after. I did just watch the season on Ole Miss, and it was you, Cooper Johnson, and Greer Holston. You guys are in a band. Are you still in a band?
Yeah. Well, the band is split up for right now, but we it's funny. A lot of people ask about that. We were just like during midweek games. It's just like we just sitting on the bench, and we're just talking like, what can we do? Like we need another hobby. And I think it was Greer ended up saying, dude, we should be in a band. And so we all 3 lived together. And so we wanted to learn a little bit more about music, and didn't go too well. As you can tell with asking what the season asking the teammates about, how that went. But
Yeah, MacArthur did.
it was just something funny that we kind of started and was kind of an ongoing joke. Yeah.
Yeah, James MacArthur didn't really like it that much.
No, he wasn't a fan for sure.
But like, I know they're all your friends, but what is it like playing against, like, because I know Tate Blackman, James MacArthur, Brady Fagel, and Parker Caracci all got drafted. I'm pretty sure a few more of your teammates got drafted. Just one's off the top of my head. What's it like playing against them now? Have you seen any of them in pro ball or?
Yeah. So when I was in high A in Lancaster, me and Brady Fagel got to pitch against each other, and so that was a cool moment. Just Rebel versus Rebel. At least kind of small. It's like 8 teams, so we got to see each other quite a bit and catch up. And then when I was in low A in Asheville, me and Will Golson were on the same team. So we got drafted the same year. We played all our short season together, and then we started together in Asheville. So that was pretty cool. Let's see, James was in a different league. So a couple of those other guys were in a different league that I haven't gotten to play, but looking forward to getting to playing with those guys, in the near future.
Mm-hmm. And out of your college experience, is there any like the hardest? And is there any like hitter that was like the hardest one you've had to face, like that like sticks out in your memory? Or
yeah, I mean, there was a bunch of them. In the SEC, there's just so many talented hitters, and I don't know. First one that comes to my mind, because I remember answering it during like draft questionnaires and stuff, is Braden Shoemake from Texas A&M. Always saw me really good. There's one from Arkansas that saw me really well. Austin, he was a freshman. Austin Martin saw me really good. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, not to take credit away from any other guys, but it's a SEC all the way around. But those two guys probably stick out the most.
Yeah. And when you got drafted by the Rockies, on that day, did you get to meet any of the, like when you ended up going to Colorado, do you end up getting to meet any of the pro guys over there? Like any cool moments that you got from that day?
Yeah. So when I got drafted, we were in a regional game. It was actually the game that we lost to get put out. So it was a whirlwind of emotions of, getting drafted, like having a dream come true and then losing, having played my last college baseball game. It was just, it was a bunch of emotions tugging on me in different ways. But I had a lot of family and friends there to meet up after and enjoy the night. And then a couple of weeks later, flew out to Denver. Unfortunately, they had just played a homestand and they were away somewhere when I went there to sign. But got to meet the front office guys, the GM and all of that, and sign my papers and, stayed there for a couple of days. And then from there went straight to short season that was in Grand Junction. But probably going back to your question, meeting some of those guys this year at the Rockies Fan Fest, being able to be around, Trevor Story and David Dahl and, the top guys there, Kyle Freeland, being able to be around them. And that was really cool. And then getting the big league invite in spring training to be in the same locker room with those guys was, a pretty surreal moment.
So one more question about college. Playing for Coach Mike Bianco, it was like that. I get like he brought the team together as a family. Okay. But moments during like the Omaha Challenge and everything, was he harder on you during the Omaha Challenge, or was he like? Because in all the videos in the Omaha Challenge, I just see him at the beginning and then he's kind of like off to the side. Because I know that the Omaha Challenge is kind of a grueling week process kind of thing.
Yeah, he. If you don't know Coach Bianco, he's a really competitive, fiery guy. He loves to compete, he loves to win, just like all of us do. And he pushes us to be the best that we can, on and off the field, staying on top of us with our grades, in the weight room, on the field. But his most important, to him is to have that family culture. And that's one thing that, I'm forever grateful for is having that family at Ole Miss and, going to play every day with, a guy beside you that's your best friend and your brother. And that's what really Ole Miss taught me is, we're all in it together, and show me how to be selfless, and to put others before myself, really.
And again, this is your second year pro. What has your been like the coolest pro experience so far?
I mean, there's been a couple. When I was in Grand Junction short season, we actually got Matt Holliday. We just signed him for a 1-year deal, and they sent him down to Grand Junction just to get some at bats to get back into it. And him buying the post meal spreads of like steak and potatoes, and like, we're used to eating like, I don't know, just like chicken and green beans and all of that stuff every day, and to have him come in and take care of us like that and just to pick his mind a little bit was pretty awesome. And then I think my favorite so far was just being able to be an invite to big league camp this year, be around those guys, get to learn more, and then get to pitch in an atmosphere. My first, I guess you could say, like my first pitching against MLB players at the Cubs, facility, having that atmosphere and being able to throw to guys like Kyle Schwarber and Wilson Contreras and, guys like that. It was just really surreal, and I was blessed to be able to have that opportunity.
And then today, I'm a big MLB The Show fan. I saw you got your Team Affinity Stage 2 card. Don't worry, I'll be getting that soon on my team. But I do see – what's that feeling like? Because, like kind of finally you're in a video game now. How's that?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it kind of hit me, in spring training when we did like the face shoots for the show, and the show was there, and you get in this thing and you got like 50 cameras surrounding you, and I was like, dude, I'm actually getting my picture for like, it was kind of surreal. And then it's so cool, like the show doing the minor league rosters and stuff like that, and to be able to go on and like I'll have my friends text me and be like, hey, I just got a double off you in the show, or stuff like that. But having guys like text me like, what is that card thing that happened today? I don't even know what that means.
It's like if you play a certain amount of games, or you just grind a certain amount of like levels, like you can like unlock your card. It's
Right.
like Team Affinity. Like if you play a certain amount of innings on the Rockies, you unlock different stages along the way.
Right.
I saw that today, and I was like, damn, perfect. Right on our interview day. Like,
yeah.
Did you know that was happening today or no?
No, I didn't know it was happening. Like I had like a few friends text me and be like, sent me a picture of it, and I was like, oh, I don't even know what that means, but that's pretty cool. I'm gonna go on there and just see what it looks like.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. They gave you some pretty good stats,
Hey, I saw a 91 overall. I'll take that.
Yeah, 91.
Or something like that.
I got a few more questions for you, and then I'll let you go. But how have you been keeping busy during this quarantine time? And I know it's been a rough. I'm a pitcher myself, and it's just been like you got to throw in a net and everything, and can't really be with friends, kind of. But
yeah, so it's been an adjustment period. I'm just a guy that likes to be on the go. I can't sit still for long, so I've got to be doing something, a lot of the time. So right now I'm trying to sleep as late as I can, get as much rest as I can. And then I get up and I'll go, most of my workout is done here. But I've got an old coach that lets me into our high school weight room that I lift in there alone to be able to keep my strength a little bit. As far as throwing goes, I've been, playing toss 3-4 times a week with my dad. Nothing too intense right now. I'm just trying to keep it going. Because I know there'll be time to build back up whenever we hear something. But other than that, when the weather's pretty, I like to get out and golf, as much as I can. But on rainy days, it's tough. Boredom strikes, and they're long days for sure.
But it's been how has the weather been down in you're in Tennessee, right?
Yeah, Tennessee. It's been okay. We've had a few rain days, but I think it's getting better. We had like a week where we had like 4 days in a row of showers. But this week's been nice. We had a few days to get out and play golf, and it was pretty today to be out. And so I think it's supposed to be pretty again on Sunday. So
Nothing like
It's
that
been
in
nice.
New York. New York's just straight rain every day, cold.
Yeah. What part of New York are you in?
Long Island.
How far is that from the city, New York City?
About like 20 to actually not like an hour and a half from my house probably. So I get up to go see some Yankee games, some Met games here and there.
It's bad there, huh? The virus and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's really bad. Like
Everything's shut down.
they're shutting down everything. Like there's no one on the roads at all now. Like I'm just flying to work here and there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So.
Well, hey, I was supposed to be up in Hartford this year, and I was close by. You know, yeah, yard goats.
The yard goats. Yeah.
So hopefully, at some point, this year we'll be able to get out there. But I was excited to get out, there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm gonna try to make it out to if you're up in Hartford once this ends, and I'll be out there coming to watch play and supporting.
For sure.
But besides baseball, and you enjoy golf, but any other hobbies besides that you've been keeping busy?
I've been playing a little bit of the show. I'm in this league with some of the agency guys that are in. We've been able to play a little bit. Other than that, I mean, I don't watch a whole lot of TV. Like, I get this question all the time, what are your hobbies? I'm just like, dude, I really don't know. Like, I like to be on the go. Like, I golf. I try to be outside as much as I can, play little video games here and there, not too much, but that's about it.
All right, last question, then we'll wrap this up. Any advice for the kids chasing their dreams? Because I know you've from Tennessee, went to Ole Miss, got to pitch in a hometown college against Vanderbilt in Nashville, and it's kind of surreal for you, as you said. But any advice for them?
Yeah, I was a kid, dreaming to have this, as my life, and I would always ask myself, like, why not me? And a thing that I want to challenge, like, younger guys that are looking up to us and looking up to guys in the big leagues, is ask yourself, why not you? We can only do as much as we can. We can work as hard as we can, but just keep dreaming and keep working as hard as you can, and dreams do come true.
Well, thank you for joining me on our first pro kind of podcast thing for our YouTube channel, and I'm beyond thankful to be here with you.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you.